This is my speech on social media and communication among today's youth. Today's youth has the world at their fingertips. With just one tap, kids today can communicate with hundreds of other people, some who they know and some who they don't. Generation Z is the first generation to grow up in this new era of technology. Technology has been revolutionized since 2003 when social networking sites were created. These sites allow for people of all ages across the world to connect with one another and share and create content. Social media has changed the communication among today's youth and affects skills and development in adolescence. Extensive research indicates that the way in which people communicate versus social media can be beneficial and detrimental. Not only has it affected daily communication, but it's also had an effect on mental health of users around the world. Social networking sites emerged in the early 2000s with platforms like Facebook and MySpace, which took the internet by storm. Social media creates a platform and a profile for people to look at. But then there creates a new obstacle when it comes to the policy of privacy and identity. A group of Stanford psychologists took interest in the amount of teens that use social media. Stanford reported throughout the study that 73% of online 8 to 18-year-olds use social networking sites for an average of about 37 minutes per day. As we can see by these statistics, social media is clearly a part of the majority of adolescents' daily activities. However, researchers have been intrigued to find out what kind of benefits and consequences come along with this new era of technology. If you can imagine life back in the 1990s, the image of a kid's texting on their phone in a restaurant probably does not come to your mind. Communications mediums have changed over time inevitably with the progression of technology. First there was a landline, then there was a cell phone, and now we have what we would call today smartphones. Smartphones have allowed us to be able to contact and talk to people without seeing them in person. Social media sites take this another step. You can communicate with friends and be friends with people that you've never seen or spoken to in person. You can share all of this content, pictures, and more without really having to interact intimately. Researchers say that this type of screen communication is changing the way people, especially kids, develop communication skills. Communication skills are very important to have in order to make deep connections and friendships. Some researchers say that having friends is proxy for being socially skilled, because making and keeping friends is an ongoing in-person task. Apps like Instagram and Snapchat and Twitter allow youth to have full-blown relationships online with people. However, these relationships are often limited in support. Face-to-face interaction and friendships have also been shown to be a predictor of success and happiness for individuals. The survey that was performed at Stanford University had results that showed a clear correlation between happiness and which medium of communication was being chosen. Higher levels of face-to-face interaction were associated with greater social success, greater feelings of normalcy, more sleep, and fewer friends whom's children's parents believed were a bad influence. On the opposite side of the spectrum, those who lacked face-to-face interaction expressed a range of negative socio-emotional outcomes. Many would agree that social media has made it easier for people to connect. But after the research that's been shown among many participants, it's clear that face-to-face interaction is necessary for adolescents to succeed in adulthood. With the changing of communication development, psychologists and researchers have also noticed a change in mental health among people who use social media frequently. As previously mentioned, support from social media friends is very limited, and the common comparison of oneself to others is very common. Several studies have been conducted focusing on the link between social media and the increase of social isolation, cyberbullying, anxiety, and depression in teens. It's been suggested that children today require more support, training, and coping skills to prepare them for a more complex and technologically advanced society. This breach in mental health can be explained by a number of factors that are associated with social networking sites. Researchers from several different universities in Florida conducted a study, one of them declaring a hypothesis to see what's causing these increased negative feelings. The displacement hypothesis suggests that time spent engaging with social media might displace more important activities that might be protective for mental health, such as sleep, face-to-face interaction, time with friends. The two concepts of forming in-person relationships and using social media as an escape go hand in hand in the decreased overall well-being of teens. Not only does the screen keep people from interacting in person, but it also gives people a new protection for cyberbullying. Cyberbullying can have an impact on a person's self-esteem, happiness, and these sites make it hard to track down people that are doing the bullying. However, all of this information brings up a good point. Social media is not going away. Social networking sites are going to be around and kids are going to use them. And there are benefits to having them. For a lot of people, these sites are a fun and creative way to express themselves and connect with others. The best way to prevent children and teenagers from having these problems are to educate them about these topics. Letting kids know that they have a support system outside of their phones, making them aware of the dangers if they do choose to participate. Mental health, communication skills, and social media are all linked together in the world we live in today. More than half of teenagers in the world use social media, and it's inevitable that this number will continue to grow. Technology has brought about new possibilities and opportunities, but if abused can be dangerous to people of all ages, but especially our youth. Being educated and making smart decisions on the internet is imperative. Hang up and hang out with your friends. Make sure people are getting face-to-face interaction along with the online interaction. The way people communicate and feel about themselves has changed exponentially due to technology and social networking sites, and this will continue to change as time goes on. That was horrible.